I feel bad. I do. I really feel bad because I keep telling you that the project of the day is going to be something different. And then it's just a diecast car. Well, today's going to be something different. It really is. Don't go away. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Fat Guy Productions. I am Paul, coming to you as always from beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada. And in just a few videos prior to this one, I talked to you about doing something different. It was on the stage fright, and it was different. It was different for me. It was an era of Hot Wheels that really doesn't interest me a lot, but I really had a lot of fun with that casting, and it was very different for me. It was a departure from the cars I normally gravitate to. Today is going to blow that one out of the water in terms of being different. If you remember back a year and a half ago, something like that, I did a Hot Wheels Hot Bird. That was those little airplanes that Hot Wheels came out with, or Mattel came out with. And they were die-cast airplanes, and they had these little handles, and you hooked them on this string, and you tilt it, and it would shoot down the string, and go zzz, down the string. So I restored a Hot Bird. Hey, do you remember that video? Well, that was as different as you can get, okay? I mean, it was the epitome of being different. Well, today I'm going to beat that one right out the window with a broom and do something that will blow it out of the water. Let's get started. So this is my sad little rumbler, the Chopin Chariot. It's in pretty bad shape. It does have the chariot part and the front wheel, which are a couple of the most important parts. It doesn't have its rear wheels, and it doesn't have its rider, and it just looks pretty scuzzy. But we're going to see what we can do with this thing and see if we can't bring it back to life. Now, one thing that I was stressing about was how would I deal with the front wheel? I didn't really know anything about these, and I wasn't sure how it would come off of there. But it comes to find out that right there is just one little rivet, and believe it or not, this is a two-piece casting. There's a left side and a right side. They're squished together, riveted, and that's it. So, yeah, I'll be able to drill this out, put a screw in it to put it back together later, and that'll definitely help me in getting this restored. Now here is the plastic chariot part. It's in pretty good shape. It needs a little work, and I'll give it a nice clean up and some detail painting. And then I ordered a rider online and got this little guy. He's going to need a little bit of paint too, I think. But hey, let's get to work. Now, the Chopin Chariot needed a set of big wheels for the rear, and I've showed you these little wagons before. They have a set of big wheels in the back, and so I thought this would be perfect for getting the big wheels. I'm going to end up being wrong. I don't know if there's an issue with the size of the wheel or my Chopin Chariot, but this thing, there's these little skid plates on the bottom, and the wheels won't reach down to the ground. I'm going to find out later when I make another wheel decision that I'm going to still have to file away some material to make it actually hit the ground and roll. But that was my first thought, was to use those wheels from the wagon. It's not going to pan out. I'm going to do something different. So I'll put that aside for the time being, and let's go ahead and get this chariot taken apart. So all of the processes that would go into restoring virtually any Hot Wheel are going to apply here. You still have to drill out the post, you have to tap it and put a screw in it and everything. But once you do that, the two halves come apart, it frees the front wheel, and my front wheel is in spectacular condition. I'm not going to have to do anything to that at all. But coming apart really definitely is going to help me out here. So at this point, I still didn't know that the wheels I got from the wagon aren't going to work. I'm doing a test fit here, and I'll just plop them in and check everything out. And it's about this time that I'm going to figure out that I don't get enough reach, and the wheels actually won't end up touching the ground. Now, what I'm going to switch to later, I'm still going to have to take a little material off of the casting to get the wheels down to the ground, but it is a much better fit, and in the end, it's a better look, and I'm really happy with the way I end up going. But suffice it to say, these wheels aren't going to work here. So I don't know what's all over the casting. I don't know if this had some kind of paint on it or something at one time, but it's all going into the warm liquid goo just to get rid of what looks to me to be some residual, say that 3 times fast, residual paint flecks. Goodbye. So my rumbler is out of the warm liquid goo. I've washed it off and I'm drying it, and it's looking really good. And I'm not going to paint any of this, I don't think. I think I'm just going to polish everything up really, really nicely and put all my attention into the plastic chariot piece and the rider. But other than that, I don't think I'm going to paint anything on this. I think I'm just going to shine it up with Flitz and my rotary tool. Okay, so I have a set of real rider mags that I think are going to work out great. They should fit better, and they're going to look fantastic on this thing. So right now I'm just doing a test fit. And what I'm going to end up finding out is that these two aren't going to reach the ground. And I'm going to have to file a little bit of material off the bottom of my rumbler, but not as much as I would have had to have done with the other wheels. And this is going to look better. So this is the path I'm going to take. So no matter which way I go, I'm going to need to file away some material on the bottom, so I'm going to do that right now. But I am going with those real riders. I think it's going to look really, really great. And all I'm doing is just taking a file, and I'm going to file away a little bit off the bottom until I can make sure that the wheels are going to touch the ground. Okay, so it's Flitz time. We're going to take and smear this stuff all over the motorcycle, and then we're going to take a buffing wheel and chuck it up in the rotary tool, and we're going to bring this up to as nice a shine as we can get it and make this really spectacular looking. So I don't use those little cotton disc wheels that shoot the fibers all over the place. I've used them. I don't like them. I have these nice little fuzzy things. They look like dandelions. They look like dandelions, and they're great. They're fuzzy all the way around, 360 degrees. It's like a globe of fuzziness, and they work great. And I'll put a link in the description, and you can also find these by going to my Diecast section on my Amazon page. Go to www.amazon.com/shop/Paul Udelis, and you'll be able to find all of the stuff that I love to use, including these little buffing wheels. They're the best. So imagine the base of a red line, okay? Let's say I'm doing a Sweet 16. Let's say I'm doing a Diora, and I've painted the top, and I'm polishing up the base, okay? I'm going to do all the same things here that I would do there. So I'm going to polish up the motorcycle. I'm going to wipe it down and buff it out with a soft cloth, and then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to break out some Renaissance wax. I'm going to smear that all over everything, and I'm going to get it down to the nooks and crannies. If I need to use a Q-tip or whatever, I will, but then I'm going to coat that, and then I'm going to buff off all the Renaissance wax, and I'm going to get this so shiny and protected. It's going to look fantastic, and it shouldn't tarnish. thanks to the Renaissance wax. So, as I've mentioned, the front wheel is in absolute perfect condition. So I don't really need to do anything to it. All I have to do is sandwich it back between the two halves of the motorcycle, put those together, and then I'll run a screw into the post, and now I've got all of this back together, as simple as that. So the Chariot plastic piece is just a friction fit, and mine does actually snap on, but it's not a really strong connection, so I'm going to augment that with a little bit of my gel control super glue. So I'm just putting a little bit of it on the spots where it friction fits onto the casting, and then I will go ahead and set the axle in place for the rear wheels, and then I will snap this down into place, and that will lock in the wheels, and then I'll set it aside to dry. Now, the Chariot has a lot of molded in things that would be gilded in a real Chariot, and so I've got this rub and buff, this gold rub and buff, and I'm going to use that. I'm going to kind of just lightly, almost like I'm dry brushing, I'm just going to apply it to all the raised elements on the body of the Chariot. Then once it's dry, I can just buff it out really lightly with a soft cloth to bring up a little bit of shine, and we're in business. So rub and buff and products like it are kind of like a wax and very metallic-y looking. And you paint them on like a regular paint, and then you let them dry, and then you can buff them out and bring out that metallic sheen. And they really end up giving you a great realistic look. Not always the easiest things in the world to work with, in my estimation, but sometimes they're just what the doctor ordered. So that's what we're going to do here today. Now, I have the body of the motorcycle a little bit too shiny, okay, a little bit too clean. A real vehicle wouldn't look that way, so I'm going to use some of my Tamiya black panel liner, and I'm going to just apply it around things like the heads of the engine and around the forks and stuff like that, just to give this a little bit of realism. So, to wrap up my Rumbler Chopin Chariot, all I needed to do was a little bit of detail painting on the rider, and then I can go ahead and fit him into the motorcycle, and I can call this project done. I had a great time doing it. It was really nice to do something this different, and I hope you loved it too. Well, ladies and gentlemen, there it is, my Rumbler Chariot. Okay, I said I was going to go different. This is as different as you can get in the world of Hot Wheels, okay? It came out fantastic. I'm super happy with it. I think it looks great, and I hope you loved it too. If you did, please give this a big thumbs up, click subscribe, and don't forget to Ben-Hur the subscribe button so you never miss one of my Diecast videos. You like that one? Ben-Hur it? You know, with the chariots and they're running around, they're running people over, they got the spikes, and you get the reference, right? I hope so. Anyhow, sometimes I'm so stupid, I don't even know. Anyhow, if you have any questions or comments, as always, leave them down below. I love to hear from you guys. Okay, that I'm sure is more than enough for today. I'm going to get out of here Until next time, this is Paul from Fat Guy Productions saying, be good.